Imagine this. You're in the middle of a conversation or even driving, and suddenly you just can't keep your eyes open. Your head starts to nod, your body feels heavy, and before you know it, you drift off completely uncontrollably. For most of us, this sounds impossible, even a little scary. But for people with narcolepsy, this isn't a rare fluke, it's a daily reality. It's not laziness, it's not a lack of willpower, and it's certainly not something you can just push through. Narcolepsy is a neurological disorder that disrupts the brain's ability to regulate sleep and wakefulness. It can strike at any moment, and its effects go far beyond just daytime sleepiness. Before we continue, if you're curious about the hidden truths behind sleep disorders and want to really understand what's happening in the brain, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share, because we're breaking this down section by section in a way that's easy to follow and even a little surprising. So, in this video, we're going to explore what narcolepsy really is, how it affects the brain, and why it's so often misunderstood. By the end, you'll see this condition in a completely new light, and maybe even recognize signs you didn't know were important. Section 1, what is narcolepsy? Alright, let's start with the basics. What exactly is narcolepsy? At its core, narcolepsy is a chronic neurological disorder, which means it affects the brain, specifically the part that controls when you're awake and when you're asleep. Simply put, people with narcolepsy can't reliably control their sleep-wake cycles. Imagine your brain's internal clock is constantly glitching. One moment you're wide awake. The next, you're suddenly nodding off, no matter where you are or what you're doing. Now, there are two main types of narcolepsy. Type 1, or NT1. This is what most people think of when they hear narcolepsy. It includes excessive daytime sleepiness, but also something called cataplexy. That's a sudden loss of muscle tone, often triggered by strong emotions like laughing, surprise, or even excitement. You might be telling a funny story and suddenly your muscles just give out. It can be brief, but it's startling. Type 2, or NT2. Here, the main symptom is still that overwhelming sleepiness during the day, but without cataplexy. It might seem less dramatic, but it can still have a huge impact on daily life, like struggling to stay awake at work or school. Narcolepsy often starts in childhood or adolescence, but here's the tricky part. It's commonly misdiagnosed. Many people assume it's just normal sleepiness or even laziness, which is completely wrong and, frankly, unfair to those living with it. But the sleepiness is just one piece of the puzzle. People with narcolepsy can also experience sleep paralysis, that terrifying moment when you're falling asleep or waking up and your body just won't move. You're awake in your mind, but your body feels frozen. Hypnagogic hallucinations, vivid, sometimes frightening dreams that can feel incredibly real, right as you're drifting off. Fragmented nighttime sleep. Even if someone sleeps a lot, it's often not restorative. They wake up multiple times at night, which makes the daytime sleepiness even worse. So, you see, narcolepsy isn't just about nodding off in class or at work. It's a complex condition that touches nearly every part of someone's life. And that's why understanding it is so important. Section 2, how narcolepsy affects the brain. Now that we understand what narcolepsy looks like on the outside, let's talk about what's happening inside the brain, because that's where the real story lies. At the heart of it is a chemical called hypocretin, also known as orexin. This little molecule might sound complicated, but it plays a huge role. It's like your brain's natural wake-up signal. It tells your body, hey, it's time to be alert, time to stay awake. In people with narcolepsy type 1, the brain produces very little or no hypocretin at all. Without this signal, the brain struggles to maintain stable periods of wakefulness. That's why someone can be fully alert one moment, and the next, their brain decides it's time for an unscheduled nap. No warning, no control. But that's not all. Narcolepsy also affects REM sleep, the stage of sleep where dreaming happens. Normally, REM sleep only occurs at night, but in narcolepsy, it can invade the daytime. That's why hypnagogic hallucinations and cataplexy can feel so vivid. The brain's dream state is blending into reality. Researchers believe narcolepsy is often autoimmune in nature. Essentially, The body's immune system mistakenly attacks the very cells that produce hypocretin. It's like having your internal alarm system slowly disabled over time. Here's an easy way to picture it. Imagine your brain is a traffic light controlling wakefulness. Green means you're alert. Red means it's time to sleep. In a healthy brain, the light works perfectly. In narcolepsy, the light flickers unpredictably, sometimes switching to red in the middle of your workday or even while talking to a friend. So, it's not just feeling sleepy, it's your brain mismanaging sleep itself, and that's what makes narcolepsy so unpredictable and often misunderstood. Section 3. Why narcolepsy is misunderstood. Narcolepsy, it's one of those conditions most people think they understand, but actually don't. If you've ever heard someone joke, "I'm so tired, I must have narcolepsy," then you've witnessed one of the biggest misconceptions out there. The truth is, narcolepsy isn't just about being sleepy. It's a complex neurological disorder that affects the brain's ability to regulate sleep and wakefulness. And because of that, it's often misunderstood, misdiagnosed, and even dismissed. Let's start with the most common myth. Myth 1. Narcolepsy just means you're really tired all the time. Sure, excessive daytime sleepiness is a key symptom, but it's far more serious than ordinary fatigue. People with narcolepsy can experience sudden sleep attacks, falling asleep during conversations, meals, or even while walking. This isn't about laziness, it's the brain quite literally losing control of the sleep-wake switch. Myth 2. People with narcolepsy sleep too much. Here's the twist. Many don't actually get restful sleep at night. Their sleep is often fragmented, full of vivid dreams and sudden awakenings. So even though they're exhausted during the day, they're not necessarily sleeping more overall. They're just not getting quality sleep. Myth 3. Narcolepsy is rare and obvious. It's not as rare as many think. It affects about 1 in 2,000 people, and it's often missed. Why? Because symptoms can mimic depression, insomnia, or even lifestyle-related tiredness. On average, it takes 7 to 10 years for someone to finally get the right diagnosis. And then there's cataplexy, one of the most misunderstood symptoms. It's a sudden loss of muscle control triggered by strong emotions like laughter or surprise. Imagine collapsing to the ground because you laughed at a joke. Your mind is fully awake, but your body can't respond. That's not just confusing for others, it's frightening and frustrating for the person living with it. Section 4. Living with narcolepsy and treatment. Now that we've explored the brain and the misconceptions, let's talk about something really important. Living with narcolepsy and what can help. Because while there's currently no cure, there are strategies that can make a real difference in daily life. First up, medications. Doctors often prescribe stimulants to combat excessive daytime sleepiness, helping people stay alert during school, work, or other activities. There are also medications for cataplexy, those sudden drops in muscle tone, and some drugs that help improve nighttime sleep, like sodium oxybate. Each treatment is tailored to the individual, so what works for one person might not work for another. But medication isn't the whole story. Lifestyle adjustments are crucial. Regular, consistent sleep routines can help stabilize the body's internal clock. Short, planned naps, even 15 to 20 minutes, can boost alertness without interfering with nighttime sleep. Avoiding heavy meals or alcohol before bed can also help prevent fragmented sleep. Then there's support. Understanding friends, family, teachers, or colleagues can make a huge difference. Simple accommodations, like flexible schedules or designated nap breaks, can help someone with narcolepsy participate fully in school or work. Counseling or support groups are also valuable, providing emotional guidance and practical tips for daily life. Here's the big takeaway. Narcolepsy is challenging, yes, but it doesn't define a person. With the right combination of medication, routines, and support, people with narcolepsy can live full, active, and productive lives. It's all about awareness, planning, and empathy for yourself or for someone you care about. Understanding the condition transforms frustration into action, stigma into support, and sleep struggles into manageable routines. So, what have we learned today? Narcolepsy isn't just being sleepy. It's a complex neurological disorder that affects the brain's ability to regulate sleep and wakefulness. It can strike at any moment with symptoms like sudden sleep attacks, cataplexy, sleep paralysis, and vivid dreams. It's also a condition that's widely misunderstood. People often mistake it for laziness or lack of focus, but the truth is far more intricate. Behind the scenes, the brain's wakefulness signals are misfiring, and this invisible struggle can impact every part of someone's life, from school and work to relationships and emotional well-being. But here's the hopeful part. With the right treatment, lifestyle adjustments, and support, people with narcolepsy can live full, active, and meaningful lives. Awareness, understanding, and empathy are powerful tools, not just for those with narcolepsy, but for all of us. If this video helped you understand narcolepsy better, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. We still have so many more topics to cover about narcolepsy, from treatment breakthroughs to lifestyle tips, coping strategies. And if you know someone who struggles with unexplained daytime sleepiness, share this video. It could help them understand what's really happening. Stay tuned, because the journey to fully understanding narcolepsy is just getting started. Remember, knowledge is the first step to empathy, and empathy is the first step to real change. Thanks for watching, and see you on our next video.